Everybody loves a celebrity love story. When two famous people fall in love, the internet immediately turns it into a fairy tale. Fans create edits, gossip pages post updates every day, and people start imagining wedding photos before the couple even reaches their first anniversary. That is exactly what happened when Jennifer Hudson and Common made their relationship public. At first, people were excited. The two looked genuinely happy together. Every public appearance felt warm and natural. Cameras constantly caught them smiling, laughing, and supporting each other. Interviews became filled with sweet compliments. Fans noticed how relaxed Jennifer looked around him, and many people believed she had finally found peace after years of emotional pain. But while some people celebrated the relationship, others quietly became nervous. Because underneath the romantic headlines and smiling photos, there was another conversation happening online, a much darker one. People were not only looking at Jennifer Hudson's happiness. They were looking at her history, and they were also looking at Common's history. The more fans remembered both of their past relationships, the more worried they became. Because to many people, this relationship did not look like a fresh, new beginning. It looked like the possible start of another heartbreak. Jennifer Hudson has been through more pain than most people can even imagine. Long before Common entered her life, Jennifer experienced tragedy that completely changed her forever. Years ago, she was deeply in love with former wrestler and actor David Otunga. At the beginning, their relationship looked beautiful. They connected quickly, became serious almost immediately, and soon got engaged. Fans loved them together. Jennifer looked happy, hopeful, and excited for the future. Everything seemed perfect. Then, tragedy struck. Jennifer suffered one of the most devastating losses imaginable when her mother, brother, and nephew were tragically killed. The pain was unimaginable. Her entire world collapsed overnight. During that painful period, David became the person Jennifer leaned on emotionally. According to people close to them, he tried to support her through the grief and help her survive one of the darkest chapters of her life. Many fans respected him for that. People believed their relationship had become even stronger after surviving something so heartbreaking together. Not long afterward, Jennifer became pregnant, and the couple welcomed their son into the world. Fans thought marriage would come next. But strangely, it never happened. Year after year passed with no wedding. At first, people understood the delays. Jennifer was still healing emotionally, and the family tragedy had understandably changed everything. But eventually, fans started noticing something strange. The excuses continued. The wedding kept getting postponed, and slowly, rumors started spreading that their relationship was not as perfect as it seemed publicly. People noticed emotional distance between them. David began missing important moments in Jennifer's life. Interviews started feeling awkward. Something felt off. But despite the rumors, the couple continued pretending everything was fine. Until suddenly, everything exploded. After nearly 10 years together, Jennifer and David officially split, and the breakup became extremely ugly. What once looked like a fairy tale relationship quickly turned into public accusations, legal battles, emotional drama, and non-stop headlines. Jennifer reportedly accused David of inappropriate behavior during their relationship. David denied the claims. Then cheating rumors entered the situation. Reports suggested Jennifer may have emotionally connected with another man before the relationship officially ended. At the same time, Jennifer accused David of leaking private information to damage her reputation publicly. The breakup became exhausting, messy, and deeply emotional. By the time legal agreements were finally reached, the relationship had completely collapsed. Fans, who once admired them, now saw the romance as another painful example of love falling apart behind closed doors. And after everything Jennifer experienced, many supporters believed she needed time alone. Not another relationship, not another emotional roller coaster, just peace. For years, Jennifer stayed relatively private about her love life. She focused on her career, her son, her healing, her growth. That is why fans were shocked when Common suddenly entered the picture. At first, people actually liked the idea. Common had always presented himself as intelligent, thoughtful, calm, spiritual, and emotionally mature. He spoke openly about self-growth and healing. He sounded like the type of man who would understand Jennifer's emotional scars. On paper, they looked perfect together, but then people started remembering Common's dating history, and suddenly, excitement turned into concern, because according to many fans online, Common has a pattern, a very specific pattern. People say he falls in love hard at the beginning. He becomes incredibly affectionate. He says beautiful things, makes grand romantic gestures, gives emotional speeches, makes women feel deeply valued and understood. But critics claim that once relationships become serious, everything changes, and that is exactly what scares Jennifer's supporters. They worry she may be entering another emotionally intense relationship that feels magical now, but could eventually fall apart the same way others did before. The problem is not that people think Common is evil. The problem is that many people think he becomes addicted to the excitement of new love, the butterflies, the passion, the emotional highs, and once normal relationship reality begins, his energy changes. At least, that is what critics believe. And unfortunately for Jennifer, social media has been ruthless about it. Online comments quickly became filled with warnings. Some fans begged Jennifer to protect her heart. Others claimed, Common enjoys the chase more than long-term commitment. A few even joked that he always looks deeply in love at the beginning of every relationship. Still, Jennifer appears happier than she has in years. That is what makes this entire situation so complicated. Because even though fans are worried, Jennifer herself seems completely invested emotionally, and maybe that is why people are paying such close attention. Not because they want the relationship to fail, but because they are terrified of watching Jennifer Hudson experience heartbreak all over again. And as people looked deeper into Common's romantic history, the concerns only became bigger. Because according to many critics online, Jennifer Hudson may not be the first woman to experience this pattern, and possibly not the last. As Jennifer Hudson and Common became more public together, fans started revisiting the rapper's past relationships, and the deeper people looked, the more uncomfortable the conversation became. Because Common has always had a very interesting public image. He presents himself as thoughtful, emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, calm-wise. In interviews, he often speaks about growth, healing, maturity, and becoming a better man. To many people, he seems like the perfect partner, especially for someone like Jennifer Hudson, who has already survived so much emotional pain in her life. But critics believe there is another side to the story, a pattern that keeps repeating. According to many fans online, Common becomes extremely intense during the beginning of relationships. He gives massive attention, affection, support, emotional vulnerability, future promises. And during those early stages, his partners often feel deeply loved, almost like they have finally found someone who truly understands them emotionally. But then, the relationship reaches a more serious point, and suddenly, things reportedly begin to shift. One relationship people constantly bring up is Common's romance with political commentator Angela Rye. During their time together, Common openly admitted he was working on his emotional issues through therapy. Fans actually respected him for that honesty. He publicly discussed his struggles with commitment and explained that he wanted to grow emotionally. He even said he hoped to become a husband someday. At the time, many people praised him. They thought his self-awareness showed maturity. In interviews, Common often spoke about learning valuable lessons about love. He even revealed that former First Lady Michelle Obama once gave him relationship advice. According to Common, she told him to stop searching for perfection and instead focus on finding someone whose values aligned with his own. The advice sounded thoughtful, wise, emotionally mature. But critics argue something important. They believe Common says all the right things publicly. Yet his relationships continue ending the same way privately, because once conversations about serious commitment begin, the romance often falls apart. And then came another relationship that pushed this conversation even further into the spotlight: his relationship with Tiffany Haddish. At first, fans loved them together. They looked genuinely happy, funny, compatible, comfortable. Tiffany openly talked about how peaceful and healthy the relationship felt. She praised Common constantly in interviews and made it clear she was emotionally invested. Fans believed this relationship might actually last. But according to critics, the same cycle repeated itself again. As the relationship became more serious, rumors began suggesting Common's energy changed.